Hello, everybody, and welcome. Rachel Adams here. I am your MAPS coach, and today we are talking about custom campaigns that convert. Now, I think the reason for this campaign and the reason I even wanted to do a webinar like this is I don't know about you, but I got tired of the same campaigns, the same drip campaigns that promise that they're different from everything else, and they weren't. They were, you should buy a house with me, and then they say the reasons that everything's amazing and wonderful, right? But it's not personal, and people work with people they like, and they like you, but they need to know about you. They need to know what you're doing, where you're going, what you're reading. They want to know everything that's going on. So my name is Rachel Adams. Now, if any of you know anything about Keller Williams, you know I'm a huge fan of the class called Bold, which I have now taken 6 times, and I'm going to be taking my 7th time actually this month on the 26th. So my first year in real estate, I got into the business, and I was actually working a full-time job at the time. And I was, seeing all these commission checks coming through, and they are way more than I'm making. And I'm thinking, man, I really want one of those. But at the time, I was actually in an unhealthy marriage, and I was salary-based. And for me, that was safe, and I felt comfortable. And then I went to the first step of Bold, and I heard a quote that pretty much changed my entire life. And it was, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. So all of a sudden, I went from a scarcity mindset, thinking I can't quit my job, it's safe, I know how much money's coming in, to an abundant mindset. Well, if I am in control of my own destiny, then there's no cap on how much money I could make, and I could actually embrace the commission mindset. So I put my 2 weeks in that day. My first year in business, I door knocked 200 doors a week, and I did 3 open houses a week for the first 8 months, and I was able to close 39 transactions for $39 million. The next year, I closed 109 transactions for $19 million, and then the third year, I did 123 transactions for $35 million, which landed me as top 1,000 in the country for the Wall Street Journal. Now, I will tell you, I want to take something off the table right now. For those of you that are listening and are thinking, oh my gosh, that's so crazy, I could never do that. Well, if that's how you think, then you're right, you can't do that. What I want you to think about for this next hour together is having an abundant mindset and getting a little bit outside your comfort zone, knowing that the good stuff is possible if you're willing to put the work in, and if you're intentional about the choices you make, and if you're intentional about the people you surround yourself with. So I got really intentional on this journey that I had, and I do want to tell you, now Nicole, our lovely Nicole with MAPS Coaching, hi Nicole.
Hello, everyone.
She is on here, and she's actually going to be helping me facilitate. So when I am doing this presentation, we're going to be talking, I might say next a few times, and she's going to be helping me with slides. And then she also is going to be handling the chat box. So as we're going through this presentation, there's going to be an opportunity below for you to have any questions you have, go ahead and put them in. And at the end of the webinar, we will address them. Now, the webinar is set to be an hour, but the questions usually take a little bit longer. So again, this will be fully recorded and sent out to everyone, but feel free, if there's something I'm talking about that you want to know more about, let me know, because my guess is if you have a question, somebody else does too. So, all right, the other thing, I had the opportunity to write a book, which is really exciting. So I'm now a published author. It's called Lost to Found in 90 Days, and it's co-authored with our CEO of Keller Williams' wife, Nina Rowan Heller, and it's all about personal development, like really leading, growing from the inside out. And then I am a MAPS coach, which is so fun, and I have a course called From Limited to Legendary, your fast track to becoming a top 1,000 agent, and we'll chat more about that at the end of this, but it's basically everything I wish I knew when I got into the business. And then, most important probably, I'm engaged to the most attractive man in America, and we are getting married very soon. We're getting married in June 16th. All right, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you so much. Okay, so a fact, people work with people they like, and they like you. And so the reason that I wanted to create this webinar is because I feel like so many times agents get lost. They get lost in the hustle and bustle of what real estate is, and they forget what they actually should be focusing on. And I have to say that You know, when I really took a big shift in my business, it was when I got hyper local, hyper personal. I realized that people actually want to work with me, and they want to know what I'm doing. They want to know what I'm doing, where I'm going, what I'm reading. Like that's what they want to know about. Next slide. Okay, so a lot of you have asked me a little bit about my org chart. So I wanted to kind of share with you what it looks like today. So I am still in production. I'm the lead listing agent on the team, and our team is in Northern California. So we cover Sacramento, Roseville, Bay Area, and we've got a couple expansion locations. So there's 3 departments for the team. First, we have lead gen and marketing, and that's kind of where I am. So I'm the rainmaker. So I'm making it rain, right? I'm making it rain the leads, and I'm out there building relationships, building rapport, and really connecting with the community, business to business presentations, and coaching the team. And then on the other side for me, we have a director of lead generation. Her name's Melanie. And her job is to basically make sure that no lead gets left behind. I mean, if you're anything like me, you get text message leads, you get Facebook leads, you get internet leads, email leads, and it gets a little bit crazy. And I know that my strength is in the relationship building. It's not in the organizational side. So I hired Melanie to help with that. Then we move over to the admin side. So we have Carla, who's the COO of our company, and she pretty much makes sure that my world works and that the agents are happy. And then we have Tiffany, and she is our transaction coordinator. She's written into every contract. We have an administrative assistant named Amanda, and she makes sure that sign boxes are installed and lock boxes and all of that. We have a virtual assistant named Vanjie, and she kind of handles the back end, like KWLS and anything that doesn't actually need to have someone talk to a client. That's her department. And then we have a runner, and the runner makes sure that, like today, he went and did an AVID for me. I mean, just anything that's not the highest and best use of my time that I can pay him $25 to do, I'm all about leverage. And then we have our sales department. So we have 2 sides. We have the listing department and we have the buyer department. Patrick Smith is my director of sales, and he pretty much oversees both and really is involved with the buyer side. And then I'm still the lead listing agent. We've got 2 expansion agents in the Bay Area, Stockton and Brentwood. Next slide, please. Okay, now a lot of people with teams want to know what exactly we are doing on our team and how we hold them accountable. So I did want to address that real quickly before we move into database. Now, first thing is every Monday we do what's called a team powwow, and it's 9:30 to 10 in the morning. Now, everybody gets on a conference call and they share something wonderful that happened over the weekend, and then they share their goal for the upcoming week, and then one specific thing they're going to do to achieve that goal. Now, the admin is also on this call, and she's making sure that everything's totally dialed in, and when we get off the phone, everybody gets an email that says, Rachel, you said your goal was 2 listing appointments this week, right? And you are going to be reaching back through your A's and B's in your database and dialing 200 names until you get your 2 pieces of business. So it's, something great that happened over the weekend, and then you set your goal and then the specific thing you're going to do to achieve the goal. Now, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we do script practice from 9:30 to 9:50, and that is basically where the agents are on the call. They all get the script the night before, and they're just script practicing, and then they move into dials. Now, we use Vulcan 7 for our dialing, and everybody has 2-hour blocks. The next thing we do is numbers are reported every single weekday. So Monday through Friday, they have to report their numbers, how many calls they made, how many contacts they made, how many people they reached out to, how many contracts written, how many contracts accepted. So we track all their numbers. Now, I will tell you, if they don't report their numbers for 2 days in a row, their leads get turned off for an entire week. And they don't want that to happen. So it's really important for us that we help hold them accountable. Every Friday, they turn in a GCI sheet, which is their gross commissions income, and they are tracking their numbers along with me. And then they always need to make sure that they have 100 leads in Boomtown that are tagged. And basically, the way we tag them is anyone who's purchasing in the next 0 to 30 days, 30 to 90 days, and then 90 days plus. So we always make sure that they're tracking that. And they need to do 3 open houses per month. So the standard on the team is that they will close 2 transactions a month, and they will do 3 open houses a month. Now, that is a standard, and because they're 1099 employees, I can't say you have to do this. But what I can say is on the Rachel Adams group, this is the standard. Next slide. Okay. Now, this flow I made because I feel like sometimes we make it a little bit too complicated. And what it really is about in building a business, now I don't care if you're in real estate. I know we have a lot of people on here that are not in real estate. We have people, we have some MLM people on here. We have people that are entrepreneurs in totally different industries, and everybody's welcome because really this is all about the same thing. The first thing you have to do is you need to lead generate. So we lead generate to get the contacts, to get the appointments, to get a signed agreement, to get somebody in contract, to get you a paycheck. And so we make it really confusing a lot of times, but it isn't. This is as simple as it gets. So you lead generate to get your contacts, to get the appointments, to get the signed agreement, to get them in contract, to make money. Next slide. All right, now again, we make this complicated, but I want to uncomplicate real estate for you. So we talk about this, but what are buyers looking for? Well, buyers are looking for houses. And who has the houses? Well, sellers have the houses. They have the inventory. And what are they looking for? Well, they're looking for buyers. So who should you be talking to out there? Well, you should be talking to buyers and you should be talking to sellers. Buyers, you let them know you have all the inventory, right? The inventory's out there. Sellers, you let them know you have all the buyers. And what I want to do today with you with database is I want to go through and share with you a little bit about what buyers and sellers could possibly be interested in. And we're going to make you that market expert. We're going to make you the one person that they need in their world such that when they think of buying or selling their house, they're going to come to you. Next slide, please. All right. So when we have real estate, and even for any business you're in, I want you to think about your business like the legs of a chair. So if there are 4 legs to a chair, then what are the 4 legs to your business going to be? And by that, I mean, what are the ways you're going to have business come into your world? Now, some people focus on open houses. Some people focus on door knocking. Some people focus on social media. Some people focus on business to business. But the number one thing that's non-negotiable for every single person out there is your database. It's that one group of people that you're surrounded with that everybody else wants to be around, right? So database is your number one. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Next slide. Thank you. Okay, so real estate for me, it's a relationship-based business. And by the way, we just happen to be in the business of buying and selling houses. Now, if anybody's ever heard me on panel or you've seen me do a webinar before or you've seen me speak, I talk about this a lot because for me, it's about building the relationship. I said it before, but I'll say it again. People work with people they like. But they like you, but they want to know who you are. They don't want that stock email that everybody else sends out where they get no value from it and they just delete it. So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to share with you our custom 33 touch campaign and some of the specific marketing pieces that we've really seen some neat return from. So this right here you can see. Now what we did is we took the 33 touch and we kind of tweaked it a little bit. We actually did a mastermind with my team and we said, okay, what really matters to us as a team? Now, our team slogan is we live here, we work here, we're here for you. Because we live in the community, we work in the community, and we're there for the community. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to let people know how exciting it was that we got to live where we do and all the wonderful features about why we love living there. And we knew how important video is. I mean, video is the wave of the future. Now, before we started recording, we were chatting a little bit about it, but I'm going to take you guys to show you. So this, I'm actually in my garage right now, which you might not know unless you see this right behind me. So this is actually my garage. But what I did is I turned my garage into a recording studio. So I'm just going to let you guys kind of see what it looks like. There's some chairs and then back to garage. So what we did is we had the entire team come over and see, I just have to shift it and then I'm back in professional space. So we actually had the whole team came over and we gave everybody 3 scripts to send to practice before they came over. 1 to send out to buyers, 1 to send out to sellers, and then 1 to send out to their past clients. Now, what we did is we wanted to make sure, now people with text messaging, I don't know how many of you do regular lead generation with dialing. We do it 5 days a week. And what we decided is 1 out of those 5 days, instead of dialing, we're actually going to be doing text messaging. messages, because there is a 90% chance. So Harvard Law just put out, or Harvard Business Study, Harvard Law just put out an article saying that there is the 90% chance of having someone open a text message is more likely than an email now, because it's immediate gratification. Like, my phone is right here, and I mean, I'm sure I'm going to have 90,000 text messages when I get off the phone, or when I get off the webinar here, but my phone is always going, and I know that I always have it on me, and people know that. They know that they want to get a hold of me, they text me. So we decided we would take these videos and send them out. So what we also did is we looked at the 33 touch, and we took someone else's and we actually tweaked it. So a lot of our videos, we also call 4 times a year. So 4 times a year we are dialing our database. We are, it's basically once a quarter. And we have different things we say to them every time. I'm going to be sharing those with you. Testimonials are awesome. People always want to see the happy home seller with a picture of them. Motivational Monday, we do that 4 times a year. Now this is just, you're going, so say you're on Facebook and you see an inspirational quote and it really speaks to you. Take a picture of that and write out about it what mattered to you and share that with your database. I'm telling you, people work with people they like, but they need to know who you are. They need to know what matters to you. They're going to ignore you if you're always that agent. Like, you know that agent on Facebook who's always like, look at me, I'm amazing. Check out this award, check out this award. And you start to drown them out. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to be really intentional about how we could not be drowned out with all the other agents out there. So what you'll see down here for the ideas is we were talking about different things that we could do. Back to school, a pet adoption month, some interesting facts of, do you know this about your neighborhood? You know, a vendor directory. That's one thing we did, which was really cool. I will do a separate video about this just on Facebook, and I'll share it. But we actually took our top 5 vendors and we said, you know, we know that winter's coming up and we want to make sure you're protected. Here's our top 5 vendors. And so we had a plumber, we had a handyman, an electrician, and just so there's 5 people. And then we took it, saved it as a JPEG, and we texted it out to everybody. We didn't email it, we text messaged it. And what I would encourage you to do is try to go outside your comfort zone a little bit. The text messaging really does work. Next slide, please. So this right here was our mastermind come to life. So we basically took January through December, and we really thought about what we could do each month to add value. And so I'm going to share a few of those pieces with you now. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so this one was really fun. So for January, we had 2 options. One we did, which we put this on Facebook, is we said celebrate the new year. Still looking to for a memorable way to kick out 2016 to the curb? Sacramento and Placer County has no shortage of New Year's Eve celebrations. Whether you're looking for a dance party, a fireworks show, or a winery, or a fairy wonderland, here are a few events to welcome bright, shiny 2017. So this was actually done in December, launching us into January. But it was really fun, because then what we get to do is we got to go, and don't make this more complicated than it needs to. Google fun things to do for New Year's in your county, right, in your city. So I looked in Sacramento County and Placer County, because those are the 2 areas that I work the most often. And I just pulled a few different options, and then I made this post. And what you want is you want to put this on Facebook, and then you want people to share it. And that's exactly what happened. Next slide. Okay, this one, trust me, I'm going to be your favorite person. Now, this one you're actually going to be sending out in January. So what if I was your real estate agent and I sold you your house, a year or 2 ago, and it's January, and I called you and I said, hey, John, this is Rachel Adams. I just wanted to let you know that I know Valentine's Day is coming up next month, and I've actually partnered with quite a few restaurants in the local area, and I wanted to know, what's your favorite kind of food? And John's like, I mean, we like Italian, we like Mexican, why? Well, John, one thing that we're doing here at the Rachel Adams Group is we're actually offering to make your Valentine's Day reservation for you. John's like, what? Like, mind blown, right? And so what happened is we actually we took all the different cities in our area, and we picked like 2 or 3 restaurants and different price points And we actually got to have a business-to-business meeting with every single restaurant, letting them know we're a top team in the county. We sold 135 houses last year. That's 135 potential clients we could bring into their restaurant. And we wanted to know if they would mind if we featured them for Valentine's Day and offered to make reservations for our clients. Now, we're doing this in January, you guys. It was a huge value add. And that's the thing I want you to think about with your database. All I want you to be is that person who's constantly pouring into them, loving on them, offering them value, and they're going to send their business to you when it comes time for that. Real estate is a relationship-based business. We just happen to be in the business of buying and selling houses. So this one was a huge hit for us. Next one. Okay, and the other thing you can offer in January is a HUD statement. If somebody has purchased a house and they want to know how much their house is worth, or an updated CMA, or they have tax season coming up and they need a copy of their HUD, this is an awesome thing to send out. Again, it's just value. Hey, not sure if you filed your taxes yet, but I wanted to make sure you had this. Hey, I know you bought a house a couple years ago. Since it's January, we wanted to reach out to everybody so you know where you stood on the current market and how much your house is worth. Hope you got some equity value. All right, so February was really fun for us because I call this letter from the heart. Now, we will sometimes do some pictures in here and pictures of the team, client events we've done, but this one, I want you to only have it be something where you do something personal. So in this one, I got to really share that we, on our team, we ended up getting Wall Street Journal's top 1,000 in the country, and it was a huge honor for us. So I took this one to just share from my heart how grateful I was for all of our clients and what we've done. And then we actually had a cute little award, and we text messaged a picture of us out to the award to all our clients, and we said we couldn't have done this without you. St. Patrick's Day. Now, we've done a couple different things for this one. This one, we did a quote. This one says, luck has nothing to do with finding your dream home. When you're ready to move, I will work tirelessly to make sure it's the best move of your life. So we text messaged this out, and then what we emailed to everybody is we actually we called it Green Week, and we pulled like pub crawls. We took like a green beer recipe. We did what was it, green eggs and ham. We did a copy of the book, just lots of fun stuff. But again, we wanted to make sure we stood out, and so this was a fun one for us. And the thing that's cool about when you start to like share all the local pub crawls, or you do something like that, is when you put that in your database. And we always, whatever we put in our database through the email, we always also share it on Facebook. Now, in my coaching program, Limited to Legendary, I share a lot of those examples, like the actual pieces that we send out. So if anyone's interested in that, you can definitely reach out to me. But what we like to do is we like to have the shares, because as you know, you have your database of people who look at what you're doing on social media. But the goal is to have someone else share it to their database. And that's how your business starts to grow. I'm maxed at friends right now, but I'm just at about, I think, like 8,000 followers. And every time after I do a post for my database with something having to do with the community, my followers increase. Next slide. Okay, now we have two time changes throughout the year. I always share this one. I think it's important to always share when you have a time change, because I mean, they get it from some people, right? If they get it, I know as agents, we get it from our lenders and our title companies and all that, but likely your clients aren't getting it from everybody. And so I would encourage you to do this. If it's March 12th, do it the month before. Do it in February. Baseball. Okay, so how many of you know how much I love sports? Like so much, right? I could tell you everything about baseball and hockey and soccer and football. Yeah, not at all. However, a lot of people love sports. So we always make sure that we send out our local baseball schedule, and then we also share our local football schedule, because people are sport fanatics. And even if it's not the thing that I'm most passionate about, this is one that gets shared. They will print it, put it on their refrigerator, have it at their office. And again, what you notice, the theme with all of this is my branding. My branding is very, very consistent. I always want them to know I'm adding value to you. And by the way, I happen to also sell houses. Okay, this one's a big one, and we are doing this year, and I'm so excited about it. I'm sharing it with you guys now. We are actually doing something called Suits for Soldiers, and I'm very passionate about making sure that we pay honor to those who fought for our country and still continue to fight for our country. And so what we're doing is we are actually doing a suit drive for soldiers, and we're going to be doing a local campaign, partnering with a lot of local businesses, and then we're going to be having actual veterans who come back from fighting overseas or who've been out of the workforce for a while, and we're going to get them fitted to have their own custom suit so they can get back into the workforce. And so the intention behind it is just strictly to give, to connect with the community. I don't know if any of you saw earlier this year, but I'm a big believer in having a theme for your year, what makes the difference with you. And so what I did is I said, okay, I want to make sure that I am giving back to my community. I want to make this year about what I can give versus what I can get. So this is a big example. We're super excited. One of my preferred lenders is a vet. He's a Marine Corps. He was in the Marine Corps, and so he's a veteran. So it's just a really unique opportunity, and that's the thing. Like, my database knows that I care about people. What's my slogan? We live here, we work here, we're here for you. So when you look at your database, I want you to think about what matters to you. I want you to think about what is your passions, like what drives you, and then you just make your database around the things that interest you. If you're a huge pet fan and you've got 5 dogs and 6 cats, awesome. Do a National Pet Adoption Day. Go to your local shelter, take a video with some of the puppies and say, listen, this is a huge need on my heart and I want you to help me. This is, Sam, the little puppy, and he needs a home. People want to connect with you, so it's your job to be able to provide the value and the content. Okay, July. I love this one. This one, and in December we do local Christmas tree lighting locations. But this one was shared the most this year of any flyer that we did, and it's where to see the local fireworks. So I think on this, it's like people love fireworks and it's so fun for them, but they're like, oh, I wonder where I can go see them this year. Be the person that shows them where the local fireworks are. And again, this does not have to be difficult. I made this in Canva, and it's phenomenal. I mean, this is what you guys can do to be that agent who's always giving value. And then you're going to post this on your Facebook page. Someone's going to share it. Someone's going to share it. Someone's going to share it. And before you know it, you are the community local expert, and everyone's going to be coming to you when they need to buy or sell a house because you're always that agent who's giving value. Back to school. This is another really good one. So we're doing this in July, and it basically is about us doing a school supply drive for families who can't afford to have school supplies for their kids. Again, all I want to do is give back to my community. So we're doing a school supply drive, and we just say the different things that were needed. And I just asked a teacher, I'm like, what do you need in your school right now? Do you have a shortage of funds? How can I help you? And this is what they said. Now, obviously, you guys, I want you to think big picture here. Now, at Keller Williams, we talk a lot about having a win-win culture. And what I want you to think about is there's a lot of families, there's a lot of teachers, and there's a local PTA. And if they let you come speak about your supply drive, well, that's a whole bunch of people you can also build a relationship with who might need to buy or sell someday. So if you're always leading with value, what can I give? You're going to get business in return. You just don't lead with that. Happy Pinktober. So this was a big one for us because one of the agents on our team, she, had breast cancer, and thankfully she survived. But a lot of people, it's not a battle that they win, and we really wanted to bring awareness to it. So we always put out a mailing piece to support breast cancer awareness. And in the month of October, we give 2% of our commissions back to breast cancer awareness, just because we know it's a cause that matters. And honestly, it doesn't matter the percentage you do. It doesn't even matter if you decide maybe you want to do a drive to raise money or you want to participate in a run. Again, this is about what matters to me, and this is about what matters to our team. And the cool thing about building a 33 Touch with your team is it's also a really neat culture building event, because then everyone in your organization gets to have a say and they get to connect with you. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. So in my local town, we have this awesome local area called Apple Hill. And as you can see with this crazy map, those are all different apple orchards. And some of them have Christmas tree lighting, and some of them have Christmas tree lighting and ornaments, and some of them have like local apple pies, and one of them has the most ridiculous mini donuts that I've ever eaten in my entire life. I'm not kidding. You can't have one or four. You need to have like 15. But it's awesome. And so we feature this. This is a local one. And the other thing too is you can take any of these marketing pieces, you guys, put them on Facebook and boost the post and target your audience to be hyper local. Target your audience to be a mile radius around Apple Hill and the people who live there in the surrounding counties who'd want to actually go visit. And oh my gosh, I've been wanting to go to Apple Hill. And again, what does it say? We live here, we work here, we're here for you. They know who we are. And what happens is instead of you bugging them saying, hey, come to my event, they're like, oh, Rachel, what's coming up this month? You always have something fun you're doing. So think about if you start to become that realtor in your community. It's time. And then again, we have the other time change. Like I said, we always do this one. If you don't like to send this one out in email because you feel like it's not your style, you can even just do it through text message. I mean, the easiest way to get it out is just to make sure that you do it. And I would say immediate gratification makes me happy, so I do it through a text. Now, I will say with the texting, though, I have tried different text campaigns, and if anybody knows of one that they want to share in the chat box, I'd love to hear it. At this point, I don't know of one where I can actually have it come from my phone number. It's always like that weird lead phone number, and then they know it's not coming from you. They know it's like a different campaign. So I actually just do these one-on-one, and I have my database literally old school printed out on paper next to me, and then I have my cell phone, and I just go JPEG, send, JPEG, send, JPEG, send. So it's kind of a little bit more time consuming, but it does work for me. Oh, my favorite. Okay, now, if any of you saw earlier, I did a Red Talk earlier this year, and it's actually on KW Connect that you guys can see it. And I talked a lot about my event that got picked up by Fox 40, and it's called Mommies and Mimosas. And it's a really fun thing I do with my community because I wanted to be that one person who's surrounded by a bunch of people and this can just offer value to my mom friends. Also, who doesn't like mimosas, right? And a break from kids if you have them. So I do a really fun event called Mommies and Mimosas. If you want to learn more about that, you can look up my Red Talk on KW Connect. But what we did in December is we did Santa and mimosas. And I'm definitely starting to become like the mimosa realtor. And I don't know if that's such a bad thing. So what we said to them is we said we're doing a really fun event. Now, we did email this one out. We had our ISA dialing everyone to invite them to the event, and then we also text messaged this image out to everybody. And what we said is, hey there, this is Rachel Adams with the Rachel Adams Group. As you know, Christmas is coming up. Now, I'm not sure if you're planning on taking pictures with Santa this holiday season, but if you are, we highly encourage you to do so with mimosa in hand. We're doing an event December 3rd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Folsom, and we'd love to invite you to be our guest. Hope to see you there. And so, like, we took a text message. That was our script in the text, and then we sent the JPEG and shot it out. And it was awesome. This was a rockin' event. We had so many people, and we got 6 referrals from it. So that, for me, is a major win. Okay. So now we're going to transition a little bit. Nicole, how are we doing on time? I know we started a little bit late. How much time do I have with you?
Oh, I'm good, Rachel. I can hang on with you.
Okay, you're awesome. Okay, so now what I want to transition a little bit to with you guys is I'm quickly going to kind of go through a little bit with social media. I know that a lot of you follow me on Facebook, and if you don't, I hope that you will now, because social media is an amazing platform. Now, in the old days, we started our business with door knocking, right? So I would door knock 200 doors every single week, and I would open the door and get to talk to one person at a time. And when I started to get more prominent on social media, I realized I could talk to thousands of people with the click of a mouse. And so I started to, do a little bit of business on it, then a little bit more, then a little bit more. And last year I closed 58 transactions from Facebook, direct referrals from Facebook, because we track every lead that we close. Now, I also realized that people want to know how I did this. So I wanted to do a quick little snapshot with you guys about social media and how I grew my business, and hopefully you can kind of duplicate this social media model so that it can benefit your business. So first thing, 80-20 principle. So I believe that in the 80-20 principle, 80% of what I post about on Facebook, it's personal, you guys. It's what I'm going, where I'm, what I'm reading, vacation I'm going on with Ryan, anything fun happening in my world. And 20% of what I post about is business. It might be one of those really fun events that I just shared with you. That's a business post for me. It's not always, hey, do you want to buy or sell a house? Like, they know I'm in real estate, right? And I ask for the business. So it's 4 times a year when I call them, and my intention is to get referrals. I ask for the business. I just don't always lead with asking. I lead with giving. And then 2 kinds of pages. I definitely encourage you guys to have a personal page and a business page. But every referral I got, all those 58, they came from my personal page. Because why? Well, people work with people they like, and they like you. So they're going to send referrals to your personal page, would be my guess. Business is still important to have because that you can flood that with your listings, open houses, community events, all of that stuff. And you get testimonials there. I think that the personal page tends to be more beneficial for me for referrals. I would encourage you to post 3 to 5 times per week if this is going to be a leg of your business. Advertising and brand recognition is huge. Now, in bold, we're taught about our RAS, your reticular activating system, that little thing in the back of your brain that says, I'm going to give you, for example, a Ford Focus. So say that you're driving, you decide you want to buy a Ford Focus. So you go to the dealership, you test drive the car, and you're like, man, this is an awesome car. I really like it. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to think about it. So you leave the dealership, and you're driving down the road, and all of a sudden you see a billboard for a Ford Focus. And you're like, oh, that's weird. And then you keep driving, and all of a sudden you get to the grocery store, and you see 2 more parked next to you. You're like, what the heck? Where are these coming from? Well, they've always been there. But now your RAS is activated to them, your reticular activating system. And what I will tell you is that real estate and your brand is no different. And when you're consistent about your advertising and your brand, people start to recognize you. First, they see you on Facebook, then they're driving down the road and they see your listing panel, and then they're scrolling, through their friend's post and they see you comment on something and they go, oh, that's funny. And then they're on YouTube and all of a sudden they're directed to another video of you. You've always been there, but now their RAS is activated to you. So who do you think they're going to turn to when they hear someone buying or selling a house? They're going to be like, man, this girl is everywhere. She's probably onto something. Let me get you her information. I'm sure I can find it, right? Open houses, closings, business highlights, client interaction. I would say when you post about business, have it be fun stuff. Have it be community events, things you're doing, any fun stuff that you've come up with, and then closings. People love to see the happy home seller getting their new keys and you standing there, and you're the one that made it happen. And I like to be really personal with it, like meet Joe and Sally and their 4-year-old son, Lucas. They just closed on their first house. They're so excited. They're going to host Christmas dinner here, So I just make it really personal. And then games, questions, pictures, videos. There's all different kinds of things you can do for interaction, but the point of a post is to get interaction. So you have lots of ideas of things that you can post about. And again, if you ever want to see anything we're doing, just follow my Facebook page. We've got lots of fun stuff. So you can look at my Facebook page under Rachel Adams Realtor. And then you can follow our business page at the Rachel Adams Group. And then client testimonials. I love client testimonials because there's no better way to share your business success than the words of someone else. Because I will tell you, we all know that agent that's like, look at me. And you're like, we get it. You're so good at what you do. And they probably sold like 4 houses that year, but they just brag really loudly, right? And there's nothing wrong with selling 4 houses. I just think you can be humble about the way you go about it. So I like to share what my clients are saying versus how I feel. Okay, common mistakes. So there's a few things with social media that I really want to talk to you about so that you know what to do and what not to do. First thing, don't post and ghost. The point of posting is to gain interaction. So I would encourage you, if you make a post, take the time to respond to it. It's not like, hey, how are you guys doing today? What are you up to? And then poof, you're gone, right? No, you're still there. You don't need to ghost and like disappear. They want to hear from you. Second thing, avoid confrontational topics. I am sure you all have an opinion on politics and on religion and all kinds of other things. And I think that's awesome that you have an opinion. And I think you should have one. I have one. but you're not going to see me share it on Facebook because I know that with social media, I never know who's watching. I never know where my next referral is coming from, and I never know who I'm going to inspire. So it's really important for me that I'm really, really intentional about what I put out there and that it would appeal to all audiences. Again, of course, I have opinions. I just think if social media is a place for business for you, be careful how you air it. Check your privacy settings. Now, we talked about being intentional on who you align yourself with. I have to say that when it comes to this, you know, we all have friends from different stages of our lives, and as you grow, you might make different choices and some things might change for you, and that's not always the case with everybody in your world. And so I would just encourage you to have your privacy settings on, so in case you get tagged in a photo that might not be the best reflection of you and how you lead your life, you have to approve the post. So make sure you check that. And then again, just beware of your audience. Social media lasts forever. Once a post is on there or a video is put out, it does not go away. So be really intentional about what you put out there. Power of a post. Okay, now people always say, well, Rachel, what do I post? How do I post? What do I do with it? And I want you to think about this. Now, if I said to you, okay, I want you to post 3 to 5 times a week. You said, okay, I'm going to post, Rachel. I'm going to do it. I'm going to commit to social media. What a great day today is. Well, Rachel, you said to post. I did it. Okay, cool. What if you said, what a great day today is, what are you doing? Well, then I'm asking you a question so I can get your interaction. And then when you interact with me, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to interact back with you. I'm going to do a little @ symbol, and I'm going to talk to you. Then we have a question and a picture, so a little screenshot, and then of, you know, the beautiful day you're having, or a selfie or something fun. Pop a little filter on it, make it colorful. I mean, how often do you like to see a picture when you're scrolling through Facebook? Cody Gibson actually talked about it at family reunion, but what he said is the goal is to stop the scroll, and I loved it. The goal is to stop the scroll. You want to have something that makes someone go, wait, what? And they want to read it. You want to capture their attention. And then with the other thing is a pick question and a video. I mean, I love video, as you guys know. I do a ton of them. I have a YouTube channel that's jamming with all kinds of things that I do. And in fact, we will make sure that this is on YouTube if you want to watch it back later. But one of the things that I love is with video, they get to see who you are. They get to connect with you, and people want to connect with you. They want to know what your voice sounds like, and they want to know kind of, you know, your laugh and that kind of thing. They want to feel like they know you, because people work with people they like, right? Said it before, I think. Okay, so this right here is an example of, I don't know how many of you farm. I was like, can you guys raise your hands? Like I can see you. So I don't know how many of you farm right now, but what we did for our local pages, so now I used to live in a place called Fieldstone Meadows. This isn't a real area. I made this up just so you guys could see an example of what I do. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to have a local Facebook page for my community that I was door knocking in and I was farming. And I wanted to lead with value. So what I did is I created a custom Facebook page. So this down here, the wording here, you guys can just take a little screenshot of it with your cell phone if you like to kind of see what I do. But it really just says your community Facebook page for all things happening in Diamond Oak Estates, California. Get to know your neighbors, post your garage sales, community events, block parties, missing dog, or update us what's happening at your house. And then the only thing about real estate. This page is moderated by your local neighborhood real estate expert, Rachel Adams of Keller Williams Realty. Give her a call if you're thinking of buying or selling your home or know someone who is. They offer a free market analysis of your home, so you always know where your home is priced in today's market. Her phone number is, and then I share my phone number. But what I would encourage you to do is make this really fun. I used to live in a place called Fieldstone Meadows, and so I called my Facebook page the Fieldstone Meadows Review. And then I door knocked with it. And when I door knocked, I knock on the door and they answer and I said, hey there, my name's Rachel Adams. I just wanted to let you know I'm actually your neighbor. I live here, I work here, and I'm here for you. Well, I'm also a real estate agent. And what I realized when I moved in here is that not only do I love living here, but you love living here. I wanted to have a way for everybody to connect. So what I've done is I've created a local Facebook page for our community, and I hand them the paper. And when you go to a door and you start to like hand someone something, what do? Well, they take it. They receive it from you. So I thought it was a cool idea to be able to door knock and have a Facebook page. And what starts to happen is, leaders show up, right? So what happened is I created this Facebook page, and now all of a sudden there's leaders, there's people who are like, hey, I'll be your admin, I'll help you filter it, and it's all for the community. And now it's totally taken off, and I really don't have to do that much in it. I mean, we host a garage sale twice a year, and we have some fun stuff we do to offer value. And trust me, every single time we have a piece of value, a community event, Suits for Soldiers, any of that, they will know about it with a video. But this page starts to just become a local community where you are the dominant expert and you're the only real estate agent in there who's talking about real estate. Now, I will let other realtors join, but they aren't talking about real estate. And we do say there's no advertising in the group. So when I'm advertising, I'm just doing an event that I'm sharing with my community. I'm not saying, hey, buy or sell a house. The only time it says that is on the bottom of the admin description. So it's a pretty cool thing, and I encourage you guys to try it. And I want to know what you're doing. Like, tell me feedback on this. I would love to hear it. Okay, so this is one I shared with you guys in the email when we signed up for the webinar that I was going to be sharing this with you. When I was a new real estate agent, I did not have any open houses, and I really wanted to have 3 that I held open each week. And so I didn't have this at the time, but I've since created it now, and I will tell you, it's a phenomenal tool. And especially for people that are one of my agents is an expansion agent. He's in Brentwood, California, which is kind of towards the Bay Area. His name's Greg. And he was having a tough time getting some conversion out there with open houses. And so I created this piece for him. So it was a little marketing piece that says, hey there, my name's Rachel Adams, and I'm with the Rachel Adams Group. I specialize in bringing a high volume of traffic to your open houses. My goal is for you to look like a rock star in the eyes of your seller, provide great feedback you can share with them, and have a super busy open house that brings you tons of offers. What you can expect from me, and then this is my expectations, right? I will door knock 100 homes around the open house. I will circle call 150 surrounding neighbors. I will put up lots of signs to draw traffic. I will make custom flyers. I will hold the house open for 3 to 4 hours. I will give great feedback from all groups through so you can communicate with your seller. I look forward to hearing from you, and I can't wait to get your listing and contract. Thanks for the opportunity. I mean, how different is this versus just calling and saying, hey, this is Rachel Adams, and I was wondering if I can hold your listing open on 123 Main Street. Like, that's the call that most listing agents get. Well, I wanted to make sure that my agents, and I mean, I always hope I have enough inventory for my agents, and as the team grows, like we're at 15 people right now, as the team grows, I might not always have enough listings, right? So I wanted to create a value piece that they can send to other listing agents. So what I would encourage you to do is create something like this, and then talk to the front desk at your office and say, hey, can I have the top 20 agents in production in the office? And then send something like this to each one of them. It's going to grow your business. Second piece here, this is our feedback sheet. Now, I always want to be able to provide feedback to my sellers, letting them know how the open house went, positive feedback, negative feedback, how many groups came through. I always tell my sellers, I'm going to share negative feedback with you as well, because I think it's important to share what the market is saying. And they're like, no, please, we always want the honesty, right? So I make sure that I send this to every single listing agent that our agents hold open houses, and every one of my open houses, this is handed right back to me. So I always know, I tell my sellers, I will be communicating with you after the open house to let you know how it went, positive and negative feedback. So this is what I get from every agent that holds my houses open, and you could create something similar. Okay, now this is just a really cool piece that we door knocked with. A lot of you have seen a post that I have on my YouTube page where we ended up using this flyer, and we got 4 CMA requests in 2 hours. 3 of those already closed, and one of them ended up turning into a refi. But what we did is we had a property that we got 5 offers on, and we went $19,000 over asking. So we made a quick little flyer like this, and you guys can read it right now to see what it says. But what you'll see down here, it says agent 12345, the price they offered, days to close, and like some of the financing, right? And what we do is we door knock the neighborhood, and they knock on the door, and they answer, and we say, hey there, my name's Rachel Adams with the Rachel Adams Group. Just wanted to let you know, we live here, we work here, we're here for you. Our top team just sold your neighbor's house for $19,000 over asking. 123 Main Street, you know Paul and Betty over there? And they're like, oh, yeah. Like, well, Couple things neat for you. One, that property sold, we got 5 offers on it. It went $19,000 over asking. So now what that means is prices are going up in your neighborhood. And also we have 4 homeless buyers who don't have a house who want to move in here. And they're pre-approved for up to $500,000. So because of prices going up in your neighborhood, now a lot of your neighbors want to know how much their house is worth. Did you want in on that list? And I will tell you, when you tell people that their neighbors want something, then all of a sudden they're like, I want that too. So it was really fun. And we took this flyer. We went out for 2 hours, each agent took 500 flyers. So we took 500 flyers, 2 hours, and we got 4 CMA requests. And I mean, I don't know what commission's like in your local market, but that is worth my time. Okay, so this is a little bit tough to see, but what I wanted to share with you on here is this picture on the side, and I apologize, my head got cut off when I did this, but the picture on the left, that's me when I got into the real estate market. That's literally me when I started in real estate. And then this picture on the right is me after, oh gosh, it was after I wrote the book. It was like after my 90-day journey of really committing to self-discovery. And what I want to tell you is we're going to shift a little bit to personal development off of the real estate side. I'm going to talk about this for a minute because it's a big deal for me. There's a quote in bold that we talk about that's your business grows to the extent that you do. And I know that when I got in this business, I wasn't happy where I was at. Like I was financially struggling. People say they're paycheck to paycheck. I'm paycheck behind a paycheck. And I wanted more out of my life. And when you join a company like Keller Williams, they talk so much about, what kind of life you want to lead and how you want to become, or, who you want to become and what kind of legacy you want to leave. And I realized that I made these huge, huge business goals, but I didn't really have professional goals. I'm sorry, I didn't have personal goals. So I have all these huge business goals. I know what I want to do, how much money I want to make, how many, clients I want to help. But I didn't know much about me and what I did. And first what we do is we sacrifice our health to make money. We are just grinding. And I will tell you that picture on the left, that's me grinding. That is me putting everyone else's needs in front of my own, not taking care of myself, and, just making sure that I made money. But then you have to spend the money on yourself because then you have to recover your health because you stopped taking care of you. So firstly, we sacrifice our health to make money, and then we spend money to recover our health. And so what happened for me is I got really, really intentional, you guys. I realized that I could not let my clients run me. Like I had to run my business instead of my business running me. I had to set boundaries up around my time. And I will tell you, like we work so hard in this business to grow a big business. But if you don't take care of you, your one body, your one vessel, you're never going to get to your goals. Now, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I did a challenge on social media for you to drink a glass of water before you drink a cup of coffee. Because if you're anything like me, the first thing I put in my body was a cup of coffee in the morning. And your body naturally dehydrates you as you sleep. And that's not a good thing because then you're just dehydrating yourself more. So what I would challenge all of you to do if you're up for it is the night before you go to bed, prep yourself for success. Put a glass of water by your bed. And then when you wake up in the morning, before your 2 feet hit the floor, chug that puppy. Drink the glass of water. I always have water by me, always, at any point, because hydration is such an important part. And what starts to happen, if any of you have ever read The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, it's an awesome book. But what happens is you make one good decision. So I'm gonna have a glass of water by my bed in the morning, and I'm gonna drink it before my 2 feet hit the floor. And then when my 2 feet hit the floor, maybe this morning I'm going to do 25 squats and 25 push-ups and 25 sit-ups. And well, that was a good decision. That felt good. All right, I'm going to drink my shower. Gosh, you know what? Instead of having a donut this morning, maybe I'll scramble up some eggs. Then you get to the office and you feel good because you had a good, powerful start to your morning. I mean, it's these little small decisions that add up over time. And before you know it, you are leading your life in an entirely different way. So that picture on the left, that girl got into real estate and was letting her business run her and did not have standards. And, you guys all know that my first time having a team in real estate, I invited all my friends to get the real estate license to come work for me, not with me, work for me. you can guess how well that worked out. Team imploded, and I got to review. I had a really awesome opportunity to look at how I was leading my standards and what kind of leader I was being. So that was really good. Cool opportunity for growth there. And now the girl on the left, like that's how I lead my life now. I wake up in the morning and I think about what I'm grateful for. And I drink a glass of water before my 2 feet hit the floor. And now I've added apple cider vinegar into my morning, which is so delicious, let me tell you. All right, next slide, please. Okay, clean no versus dirty yes. Now, what's going to happen is you're a talented person, and the more you grow in your business and in your life, you are going to have more opportunities that come your way. And if you're anything like me, you're a self-proclaimed people pleaser. And so I was like, yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll come to your happy hour. Sure, I want to go to your Mary Kay party, right? And I'm saying yes to everybody. And either I don't want to go or I don't actually have the time to. But if you say yes to it, that's a dirty yes. That's not living in integrity. So what I would encourage you to do is embrace the clean no. Thank you so much for inviting me, but it doesn't align with my schedule right now, or I don't have the time to do that. Really be intentional about what you're saying yes to, because when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And what if that time is time with your kids or time with your loved ones? I mean, your goals matter, right? Your time matters. You have to be really intentional about how you're spending your time, who you're spending your time with, conversations you're having, conversations you have around you. Next slide, please. Okay, now I wanted to let you know I am actually, the reason that I created this course, it's called From Limited to Legendary, your fast track to becoming a top 1,000 agent. Now this is my course that I created, and I created it with MAPS coaching. And the reason that I wanted to come up with a course is because I feel like there was so much that I didn't know when I got into the business. And I knew that I wanted to work with buyers and sellers, but I didn't have the scripts. And I didn't know how to create a database. And I didn't know what to send to my database. I didn't know how to do a listing presentation. And I certainly didn't know how to grow a team. So Limited to Legendary, it's a 10-week webinar series. And it's honestly everything I wish I knew when I started. So what we have is we have a private Facebook community where every Monday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time for 10 weeks, we do live Q&A. So you're sent the video, you're sent a workbook, and the video is 30 to 60 minutes, and we talk about mastering the mega agent mindset, 10x the buying process, 10x the selling process, how to build a business over social media. So that little snippet I gave you here, we have an entire week talking about social media. We deal with your marketing and brand awareness, raising your leadership lid, how to really lead your team and lead your life, talent, your secret magnet, so how to bring talent into your world. And my favorite week is personal growth equals business success. Again, your business grows to the extent that you do, and we are actually launching this class on Monday. So our 10-week webinar series starts on Monday. You can find out more information at www.limitedtolegendary.com to find out more, and it's just exciting. It's a really cool program. We have a lot of people who've taken it, and after you're done with the program, you get to stay in the Facebook community, so it's almost like our private mastermind group, and people have given really phenomenal feedback. So check it out. It's limitedtolegendary.com. I'd love to hang out with you for the next 10 weeks. Next slide. Now, I have to tell you, when we do real estate and we talk about real estate, a lot of times people talk about being in real estate, but you don't know where they live. And I have to tell you, I'm going to ask for your referrals, because you don't get the business if you don't ask for it. So I work in Sacramento and Placer County, and my team would be honored to service any referrals that you send our way. We have West Sacramento, Sacramento, Granite Bay, Rockland, Roseville, El Dorado Hills, Folsom, Stockton. Anybody you send my way, we would be happy and honored to service you. And you can send all emails to rachel@racheladamsgroup.com, and we would love to take care of you. And if you want any contact with me, whether you have a question about something that I shared with you today, you want to follow me on Twitter, on Pinterest, you want to check out my YouTube channel, follow me on Facebook, I would love to connect with you. This last sheet here, this just talks about how you can connect with me. I'd love to know how your database is going and what pieces of this really struck a chord with you. I think, I I didn't know what I didn't know getting into this business. And the further I go and the more I learn, the more I want to share. And I think too, a lot of people say, well, Rachel, why are you sharing what you send up to your database? What if somebody local in your market looks at it? Well, that's okay because I now have adopted the abundant mindset that I ask you to start this webinar with. Because when you really think abundantly, you're not worried that if you don't answer your phone at 9:30 at night, you're going to miss a client. Because I'm clear on the value that I add. And I know that if I'm constantly adding value and leading with what I can give versus what I can get, then the referrals are going to come. And ultimately, I want to be the community expert. I want to be the people that everybody turns to that says, man, I really want to work with Rachel. And when someone gets an email from me, it's not going to say, sell a house. It's going to say the 5 things you need to do to get your house ready to sell. Like every little piece I talk about in my coaching series and what I do with my clients, it's a little different. But I think sometimes different can be really good, and maybe it's what you need in your business. I mean, if your business and your life isn't where you want it to be right now, maybe it's time to do something a little bit different and go outside your comfort zone. So thank you so much for joining me today to check out custom drip campaigns, and I really hope that I'll get to hang out with you the next 10 weeks. Limited to legendary.com is my coaching series, and I thank you so much for your time. And again, I apologize for the technical difficulties this morning. Thank you for those of you who hung out. We have quite a few of you still on. Nicole, do we have any questions that I can answer? I've got a good 10 minutes. I can answer any questions anyone puts in the chat box.
Yeah, certainly. Let me get this pulled up here for us.
Perfect.
Now, you had mentioned going through and you text individually. There's no app you're using for that?
No, I honestly, I will text every time I text. Oh, I have a lot of text right now from a lot of you. How fun. It's one-on-one. I literally take the text, send it, take the text, send it, because my return rate, like my response rate, people weren't responding because I did try and use some of the bigger campaigns. And when it comes from like 301-4, they don't know it's you. And I needed to come up with my name. So that's why it is time consuming, and I think it's worth your time.
Perfect. Someone also asked for that Boomtown code you had mentioned.
Yes, I will. So what we're going to do is I'm going to send out the recording of this webinar, and I will make sure to include the Boomtown link for the CRM that I use. So if any of you want to check it out, we will absolutely make sure that happens. You can also, if you want that code, you can send me a private message on Facebook, and I will make sure to get it to you as well. I can do it real quickly when we get off.
Perfect. And then we also have people asking, what does your team use to track contacts and calls?
So we use something called, tracking contacts and calls, it's called Google Sheets. And Carla, my COO, it's free for you guys to use. She actually has created like a drop-down menu. So every day at 4 p.m., this email goes out to the agents, and they have to say how many calls they made, how many contacts, and all of that. And they input their numbers, and then that actually gets sent to me as the team leader as a report so I can help hold them accountable. It's pretty phenomenal.
Okay. And then we had a question, is everything, all the flyers they've seen today, was that all created through Canva?
Mm-hmm. Everything through Canva. It is the best. And I have a marketing gal who runs my entire world. So I will literally make a drawing on a napkin and then take a screenshot of it and send it to her, and then she turns it into something beautiful on Canva. Don't think that I created any of that myself, you guys. That's not my strength.
Awesome. And then we also have, it looks like some people are having, their communities already have a Facebook page, maybe ran by the HOA or something like that. How do you recommend maybe competing with that or a different option?
Okay, that's an awesome question. So I actually ran into that where I live right now. So I didn't Google, or I didn't look up on Facebook before if I already had that. So I was like, oh, that's fine. I'll just make my own. And then somebody wrote me, and they were so mad that because they already had a Facebook page. And so I was like, oh, shoot, my bad. So I went and looked at it, and it was an agent, and he hadn't posted in 2 years. And he was mad because he had created the Facebook page. So I actually went to the HOA and I petitioned, and I got my way. I got to do it. Which, I mean, I'm a high D, so like I will get my way, but I would just ask for permission. So I went to the HOA and I just said, listen, and what I did say is I want to lead with value. I'm not going to be asking them if they want to sell their house a bunch. This is what I do. So I went to them with like some of the marketing pieces that I did previously in my last neighborhood, and it worked out really well.
Great. Let me see here. There are people asking if you'll be sending out maybe scripts for the videos that you make or scripts for the text messages as well.
Yeah, what I think I'm going to do, because I have about 400 emails right now, my guess is a lot of them are you asking for that. I will make a specific video with including the scripts and the video of me giving the actual. So what I'll do is I will post on my YouTube channel the actual script of me doing the video, the exact thing I'm going to send out to my database, the buyers, sellers, and database, and then in the body of the description of that text, of the video, I will make sure I include the actual script, which means you're going to need to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rachel Adams Realtor, if you want to be updated on all of that.
Great. We also have the question, how do you get more people to share your Facebook posts?
I ask them to share. I literally just say, feel free to share. I don't say, will you please share? I always put a little asterisk, and I'm like, feel free to share. Or if any of you are following me right now on Facebook, I'm like emoji happy. So I do a ton of emojis, and I just have fun with it. And I just say, feel free to share this. And the fireworks one is amazing for sharing. The pub crawl locations was really good. And then the Christmas tree lighting locations, that was my biggest share that I ever had. That was really fun. I think if anyone is interested, and let us know in the chat box if this would be something you'd be curious about, but I think I might do a webinar on blogging next, because we have some really cool conversion from our blogging, and maybe talk about how to blog and what to blog about and how to have that business-to-business conversation after you do blog. I don't know if anybody would find value in that, but if you would, I'd be happy to do it, because that's been a really fun thing for our team.
All right, we have a lot of yeses coming in from that.
Okay. Nicole, we can schedule that next one together.
All right, great. Yeah, lots of yeses coming in.
Perfect. I need to Facebook Live where I can see it all.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they're definitely coming in for that one. Sounds like a great topic everyone's interested in.
Okay. Now you probably can't see any more questions because of all the yes.
Right. Let me see here. Do you have different drip campaigns for internet leads to convert them into appointments?
Well, I have maybe three. I have three templates that I use. One that is if I left them a voicemail and I didn't get a hold of them. One is if I talked to them and it's a follow-up to have them submit their requests for a buyer portfolio, and then one for sellers. And so I just basically have I either talked to you or I didn't talk to you, and then one's buyer specific and seller specific. So I have an email reply template, but my drip campaigns for them are through Boomtown. And what I love about Boomtown is they have the campaigns that other agents are using all throughout the country. If you want to know the buyer campaign that Wendy Papazon uses, you can literally take she shared her whole library on Boomtown, so I can take it, copy it into my own platform on Boomtown, and then tweak it so it's specific to my team. It's incredible. I think that's why I like that platform so much. And then I do send all my community stuff out to my online leads because I want them to want to connect with me.
Great. And then we have, how do you stay organized? Do you have a certain thing that posts for you or anything?
With social media or in life?
I'm guessing let's go with both.
Okay, so with social media, so in my phone, I use an app called Google Keep, and I have probably my next 12 posts planned out where I have the wording set up, and then I have the image in there as well. So I use Google Keep to organize my posts. But staying organized in my life, I am a huge believer in time blocking. I think that we are in a reactive world, and if you're like me, you have your cell phone and it's constant notifications, Facebook constant notifications, there's always someone who needs you, whether it's a family member, your spouse, an appraiser, a client, you're always in need. And so you're always like, oh, I got to go here. Oh, I got to go here. So we are always reacting to the world around us. And I have to be proactive with my time. So I actually have to turn off all notifications. You are not going to lose a client if you can't respond to them for 2 hours while you're lead generating. You're not going to lose them, especially if you lead with value and they know you're good at what you do. I set the expectation from the times that I'm unavailable in the morning and I'm lead generating, and I let them know, if you've got an emergency, reach out to me. Otherwise, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And then I do what I say I'm going to do. So I am proactive with my time versus reactive to the world happening around me. And then I have tech timeouts. Like, I have certain times in my world where there's no technology. Like, when I come home, my priority in life is my relationship with Ryan. That is number one for me. And I didn't have that before. Those 3 years that I was just really grinding in the beginning of the business. I mean, I've been in the business for so long. I've been in it for 5 minutes. But I had no boundaries. And so when I walk through that door, my priority is Ryan, and I want to be present with him. So we do tech timeouts. There's no TV, there's no computer, and there's no cell phone. So we can really connect about our day and what's going on in our world. And it works really well.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. Do you have any final thoughts for everybody?
You know, someone asked me the other day, so at this point in my world, I own 4 companies. And so what's going to happen for you and what happened for me is I would start to get really overwhelmed. And I would say stressed out. And so, I would come home and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. This happened, that happened, that happened. And it actually was a conversation that I got to have with Ryan that put a lot of it into perspective for me. And he was like, babe, you're a really talented person. And when you're a talented person, you're going to constantly have opportunities that come to you. Now, the reason you feel like you're stressed out right now or overwhelmed is because you said yes to a lot of different things. So you chose this. This is a choice you've made. So instead of being frustrated or stressed out that you're overwhelmed, why don't you take a moment and be grateful? Be grateful that you have so much opportunity around you. Be grateful that so many people trust you with the biggest decision of their life, which is buying and selling a home. Be grateful that you lead with integrity and so many people want to connect with you and have a good conversation. And so it was just an amazing aha moment for me that this is all in my control. And what that means is that it's also all in your control. So I would just encourage you, when you're getting a little bit stressed out throughout your day, instead of letting the overwhelm take over and taking it to a negative space, take a quick deep breath. Know that these are all opportunities that came into your world because of how you're showing up, and be grateful. All right, you guys, thank you so much for your time today. Nicole, thank you so much for your help with the slides. Again, you guys, I apologize for the technical difficulties. You know, sometimes stuff is out of our control, and that gets to be an opportunity for growth for next time. Have a good day.